What? What is this? I'll tell you what this is. It's the big hot new thing that's gonna blow all the competition out of the water. You may want to be sitting down for this one. What am I talking about? You're watching this on a computer or a toilet or whatever, and you're already sitting down. This is a real show. This is the realest show. At least, that's what you figure if you know how Comedy Central has been treating it. They're really pushing for this to succeed. On the website, at least when this review started, the show is advertised above South Park, and during prime time, it's been airing right after it. You may have even seen an ad for this very show on one of my own videos. That's how algorithms work. Maybe you even saw an ad for this show on this video right now. Only time will tell if this review is advertiser friendly. Comedy Central trusted this show so much that they renewed it for a second season, 2 months before it even aired. This show shattered 2 misconceptions of mine. Number 1. I thought that adult cartoons might start to improve and not all be Family Guy or South Park wannabes after watching BoJack Horseman and Rick and Morty reach massive success. Maybe I'm overreacting. Maybe this show just got 2 seasons right off the bat because the execs of Comedy Central were afraid that it would eat them if they didn't try to appease it. Every Comedy Central animated show that's not South Park has tried to be South Park. Well, except for Moonbeam City, that tried to be Archer. I mean, that's not strictly true, but that's certainly what it feels like. I've already given my opinion on Drawn Together. Drawn Together was a show with an amazing concept, and it had more potential than almost any other show that I've ever seen. What they do with it, they tried to be South Park. Then there was Lil Bush, which tried to make fun of George W. Bush in 2007. Allow me to be superficial and talk about the animation. It's the worst in existence. I've seen a lot of cartoons with poor animation, but this is worse than all of that. There are no exceptions. You have to be actively trying to make something look this bad. And I think that might actually be the case. Look at the outlines. They're not solid, randomly missing some spots here and there. This is impossible to accidentally do on a computer. And if you're drawing with actual Sharpies, you have to be able to see the missing holes. These are the outlines. Even the worst cartoons that I've ever seen in my life, the quality of the actual outlines have always been solid. In fact, if you're using a computer's fill tool, which this show obviously is to color, it would make your job even harder to have outlines like this. With Legends here, all of the elements just attack each other and it leads to a train wreck. Even ignoring that, Sticking Around still follows the 12 principles of animation. Legends of Chamberlain Heights decides to follow only some of them, some of the time. Check the scene here. Wouldn't this scene look better if the face of the guy the kid was talking to was actually on the screen? But let's take a full, honest look at it and see if we can find any redeeming value whatsoever. This show, like The Boom Crew, uses a lot of slang. It's weird, whenever a show tries to appeal to a certain demographic, like this one does, they seem to rely on some pretty bad stereotypes. While they comb their hair in the locker room, we can see that every single bit of movement in the show only has 2 frames of animation. A block of lead is more fluid than this show.
I'ma start calling you Montank, cause you ain't Montreal and you look like a tank.
Yeah, I have no idea what anyone is saying. Part of the reason that I'm having trouble understanding this is that everyone besides the main characters who speak in unintelligible slang.
If I can't wear my jersey to school, I'm gonna go white boy and shoot this bitch up.
Speaking of unwanted relics of the 90s, in this episode, the students will be paired up to take care of a baby. The twist is that instead of an egg, they each get these robots. That may have sounded funny or unique or whatever, but let's talk about the show's identity, setting, and the cohesion of it. Look around the school. It's dirty. It looks awful. It's as low budget as the animation will allow it to look like. In fact, that may be what they're trying to go for with the animation. Please tell me how the school could afford enough robots for an entire class. What's with the powder? Like, seriously, I don't know what the joke is supposed to be. Are those drugs? Is this just a random drug reference? It's kinda out of nowhere and has nothing to do with anything, and they don't even make it clear that it's a drug reference. And Randy gets paired with, oh, come on. I've already talked about how unfunny this brand of joke is a while back. It's not that the joke is offensive, it's just that it's so easy to make and so overdone. If you're watching the show, you, the audience, you have seen this joke before. Remember Stewie Griffin? Legends of Chamberlain Heights remember Stewie Griffin. What do I even say to that? It feels like critiquing a middle schooler's pen drawings.
Now, when you have a baby, you need motherfucking insurance. That's why you gotta enroll these little bastards in Obamacare.
Yes, Obamacare is a thing, and they're robots, so this is not how political commentary even functions. I have a quick confession to make. I don't really have any interest in basketball, so I have no idea what they're talking about. If you are interested in basketball, you might be a little bit more interested in the show than I am. However, that's not really defense of the show. This show makes me never want to hear or see anything about basketball ever again. And we see that the robot baby thing has been given an inexorable amount of drugs. Is this thing a robot because people might find this absurdly disturbing if they did to a physical infant? Or is it just because an actual infant in this art style would give people nightmares for the rest of their life?
It looks like the baby has power down syndrome.
My baby has power down syndrome?
That's not funny. The three of them break into the teacher's computers in order to reset all the robot babies. I don't see how that would work, since Grover's baby clearly suffered hardware damage, and not software damage. If you're gonna do a robot thing, you should at least get the basics correct. I wouldn't go out of my way to get this show cancelled. I mean, the last time that I attempted to remove a cartoon entirely from existence, it, it didn't work out very well.